Imagine a calm May day. Suddenly, a cloud of thousands of bees flies out of a hive. The air vibrates with buzzing. The bees form a swirling mass that after a few minutes settles on a tree branch. That's a swarm. One of the most spectacular phenomena in the insect world. For many people, a bee swarm is a terrifying sight. But the truth is that swarming bees are exceptionally gentle. They have nothing to defend. They're on their way to a new home. Today we'll talk about why bees swarm and what this remarkable journey looks like. Swarming is the natural way bee colonies reproduce, not individual bees, entire colonies. When a colony becomes too large and the hive gets crowded, the bees make a decision to split. This is not panic or escape, it's a planned operation. The signal for swarming is usually lack of space in the hive. The queen has nowhere to lay eggs, workers have nowhere to store honey. The colony is literally bursting at the seams. But there's another factor. The queen's pheromones. When the colony is too large, the pheromones don't reach all the bees. Workers on the edges of the hive feel orphaned, and they begin preparations for swarming. They build queen cells, special cells for new queens. That's the sign that a swarm is inevitable. Preparations for swarming take several days. The bees that intend to leave the hive gorge themselves on honey. They fill their honey stomachs with supplies for the journey. The old queen stops laying eggs. Her abdomen shrinks so she can fly. For the past weeks, she was too heavy to lift off. Scout bees begin searching for potential new homes. They look for tree hollows, cracks in buildings, empty hives. Excitement builds in the hive. Bees run across the combs, vibrate, make characteristic sounds. The temperature in the hive rises, and suddenly, usually on a warm, windless day, half the colony flies out of the hive. The moment of swarming itself is extraordinary. Within a few minutes, 10 to 20,000 bees fly out of the hive. The air thickens with insects. The old queen flies with them. This is her first flight in years. She's uncertain, slow. Workers surround her, protecting her in flight. The swarm doesn't fly far. It usually settles on a tree branch a few dozen meters from the hive. The bees form a cluster, a dense mass of bodies with the queen safely hidden in the center. This cluster is a temporary camp. The bees can hang here for several hours to several days, waiting for reports from scouts. The temperature inside the cluster is maintained at 35 degrees, regardless of the weather outside. The bees on the surface form a living insulation. Now begins the most fascinating part, choosing a new home. Scout bees, several hundred of them, spread out within a radius of several kilometers. They search for the ideal location. They check volume, entrance orientation, distance from the ground, wind protection. When a scout finds a promising location, she returns to the cluster and dances. Yes, she dances the waggle dance, the same dance bees use to indicate nectar sources. But this time it indicates the location of a potential home. Other scouts fly to check the location. If they like it, they return and dance too. If not, they stay silent. This is democratic voting. The location that gathers the most enthusiastic dancers wins. The process can take from several hours to several days. What makes this process remarkable is its accuracy. Studies by Thomas Seeley at Cornell University found that swarms almost always choose the best available site. The collective assessment of hundreds of independent scouts, each evaluating a location on its own merits, produces a decision that is consistently better than any single bee could make alone. It is democracy at its most functional. When the decision is made, the entire swarm rises into the air and flies to the new home. What makes this process remarkable is its accuracy. Studies by Thomas Seeley at Cornell University found that swarms almost always choose the best available site. The collective assessment of hundreds of independent scouts, each evaluating a location on its own merits, produces a decision that is consistently better than any single bee could make alone. It is democracy at its most functional. Arriving at the new home is just the beginning. Now the bees must build everything from scratch. The colony carries nothing with it except the honey stored in their bodies and the collective knowledge encoded in their instincts. Every comb, every cell, every drop of stored nectar must be created anew. It is one of the most remarkable feats of collective construction in the natural world. The speed at which a new colony establishes itself is astonishing. Within hours of arriving, Bees are already secreting wax and forming the first cells. Within days, the queen is laying eggs. Within weeks, the first new workers are emerging. The colony's entire future depends on how quickly it can grow before the first frost. Every bee works with an urgency that seems almost conscious. The first workers enter the hollow and begin cleaning the interior. Others immediately start building comb. They secrete wax from glands on their abdomen and form the first cells. The queen begins laying eggs on the very first day. Time is critical. The colony must grow before winter. Foragers set out in search of nectar and pollen. They must quickly accumulate supplies. The new colony starts with nothing except the honey the bees brought in their honey stomachs. It's a race against time. But bees have been doing this for millions of years and they know what to do. And what about the hive, the swarm left? A lot is happening there too. Half the bees stayed. They have honey reserves, ready combs, and queen cells with developing queens. The first young queen to hatch kills the rest. Then she sets out on a mating flight, returns, and begins laying eggs. The old hive is reborn. Within a few weeks, the colony returns to full strength. Sometimes, when a colony is very strong, it can swarm several times in a season. Each subsequent swarm is smaller and has less chance of survival. For beekeepers, swarming is a challenge. They lose half their bees in honey production. That's why they try to prevent swarming by giving bees more space. Swarming is one of the most beautiful examples of collective intelligence in nature. Thousands of bees make a joint decision to leave home. They democratically choose a new location, and they build a new colony from scratch. The next time you see a bee swarm, don't panic. Admire it. Because you're witnessing one of the oldest and most fascinating rituals in nature. If this episode fascinated you, leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to Hive Mind to discover more secrets from the world of bees. See you in the next one.